Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
I'm Cindy.
I'm Alison.
And we have a combined 55 years of experience working with children, families, and experts in early education.
We are not random influencers.
No, we are not. Whether you are new or have been our podcast peeps since 2018, we are thrilled you found us. Allison is scratching her eye right now, preschool peeps. If you're not on YouTube, you don't see that, but that's why she's laughing, because I hit the record thing and she was like, "Oh, hold on. Nope, we're on." So welcome, preschool peeps.
Welcome to our very human podcast.
Is your eye okay?
Yeah, it just got a little itchy there.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. We're okay, folks. Really.
I'm winking at everybody now. Okay.
You're all right. We're okay. She needs to get the eye in good shape because we have places to shout out.
Oh, yeah, we
and
do.
you have the list.
And I have to read them with my eye. Okay.
Yes.
All right, we are shouting out today the people of Madrid, Spain. So hello, everybody.
I feel like we have shouted out Madrid in the past.
That might be true.
And so thank you for still listening or bringing more people or being one of the newer listeners in Madrid.
Yay. And we are also shouting out Oklahoma.
Have we shouted out Oklahoma before?
I don't think we have. I think the last episode we had somebody we had never shouted out before, then today and next week. So listen for that. These are people we have not, at least in the United States, people we have not shouted out before. So that's cool.
That is cool. We're spreading in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. So thank you for being with us, people in Madrid, people in Oklahoma, people wherever you are. There used to be a children's show on when I was young. I'm about to date myself, called Romper Room. And she had a magic mirror and she would call children's names. She would be like, "Let's see who I see in my magic mirror." And she would say, like, "I see Allison today. I see Cindy today." And she would give the generic, "I see all of my friends today."
Yeah.
That's how I feel about thank you all.
Thank you,
for being preschool peeps and for coming back. Yeah. Because we know you have lots of choices about what you're going to listen to and what you're going to do. So thank you for coming back. Or for finding us, which is great. Yes. And for those of you who may have found us on this episode and you're thinking, by the end of it, you're thinking, "I want to listen to more episodes," just know binging us is actually a thing.
It is a thing. You can binge all, 350 something episodes. People have done it.
Yeah, people do it and they tell us.
And then they tell us and they write us. They're like, "Hi, I'm listening to episode 45. And I was just wondering, I'm like, whoa, 45. It's like a good 6 years ago. I got to go back and see what that was about. But I love that people do that.
I do too. And, thanks to all of you.
Yeah.
We are in fact still doing it. We are bingeable, and we have received acknowledgement as one of the top preschool podcasts. So we very much appreciate that. And maybe that's what makes us so bingeable, that we are one of the top preschool podcasts. But thank you. Thank you all.
I think we're just relatable.
There you go.
We're real people.
We are. Okay. We are. We're real people who are here today to make a real distinction. Thank you. Yeah. My gosh, I don't know what just happened there.
Real people, that's what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Make a real distinction between two things that sometimes I think get a little muddy. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the two words that you saw in the title of this episode. The difference between having knowledge and the difference between demonstrating. How about that? Demonstrating knowledge and demonstrating acceptance.
Okay.
Because, for example, I can intentionally learn about someone's culture.
Yes.
And I can demonstrate that knowledge if you were to ask me about it, right? I've learned about it and I can spit some facts back at you.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I have demonstrated my acceptance of the diversity.
True.
Right? There's a difference between when people say, like, oh yeah, I read a lot about that sort of person and I know a lot about that sort of person, or I majored in that in college and so I took a lot of classes having to do with. But then demonstrating acceptance is very different. And the way that we came across the notion of this was, I think it was a reel on social media. Where an adult who is on the spectrum of autism was talking about things like, you might know a lot about how it is or what it is to be on the spectrum of autism. You might have a lot of knowledge, but she was like, that doesn't mean that you accept me for who I am and all the things that come with it.
Right.
And I think that's true for so many of us, even, not only something like being on the spectrum of autism, but also things like, culture. Like I've learned a lot about it. I think I understand a lot about your traditions, your holidays, I think I understand a lot. I will put pictures of your cultural event and your family up on my walls so the children get to see it. And we're going to talk about it. But that doesn't mean that I have fully accepted that you make different parenting decisions than I do, that you have a different set of priorities and values than I do. And so we have to think about, how do we not only look at people and say, oh yeah, I heard that I was going to have someone in my class who this is happening to, or who is like this. So I did a lot of research and I have all the facts in my head. There's a big difference between having facts in your head and demonstrating acceptance.
To me, it's like the difference between being like book smart and street smart.
Yeah.
In a way. Because you got all the knowledge. Like, hey, I learned there was going to be a child like this in my class, so I read up on this, is different than accepting everything that comes along with that, right? Like, you can spitting out facts is not accepting. That's just demonstrating that you know.
Right.
Not fully accepting. I think it's hard to sometimes be fully accepting, because you will never fully know what it's like to be in that culture or in that, because you aren't that, right? So like sometimes I think it's hard, but you have to really, really try.
There are some things that I learn about, that I have knowledge about, that I am not willing to accept.
Right.
Like criminal behavior. I love a good criminal documentary.
Oh yeah, she does.
I enjoy sometimes watching court TV.
Sometimes.
No, it has to be a great case.
Yes.
but I do, like, I enjoy, like, watching court TV because I'm interested in the intricacies and the testimony and all the things that happen to bring you to this day when you are on my television on court TV. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to accept
it.
That this was, I'm not accepting you. When families come to us, and I'm suddenly reminded of an uncle that I had who was part of the deaf community. Mm-hmm. And you could have learned a lot from him about being someone who is deaf, about growing up deaf, about the use of sign language, about how he saw the world and the people in it. He was a very intelligent man. And I'm sure, I was young, but I'm sure a wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
But to accept him, his values, the fact that he did not speak but used American Sign Language, even though he potentially could orate, he could speak.
Yeah.
He was not non-verbal.
Right.
Orally, but
it wasn't maybe what you
he
consider his fluent language.
He used American Sign Language to communicate.
That was his language. Yeah.
He deeply connected with the deaf community, and in fact, he had been married twice in his life, both to people who were also deaf.
Okay. Yeah.
And so this was right. So you could have learned, if you knew my uncle, you could have learned so much from him. But to demonstrate acceptance of him as someone who walks in this world who is deaf is a whole other thing. That is offering him the same respect I would offer anyone.
Right.
It is offering him the same level of confidentiality I would offer anyone.
Right.
The same kindness and non-biased interactions, which was something I know he struggled with as someone who was deaf, especially in his generation. People made a lot of assumptions about him.
Yes.
And there were people who I think thought they were being kind, but actually they were making a lot of assumptions about him, and he knew it and he felt it. And I think children and families, when we do not fully accept whatever it is, doesn't have to be culture, can also be things like neurological differences, can be all sorts of learning differences, can be physical differences. When you are not fully accepting, they feel it.
Oh yeah, they know.
They feel it.
They know. They sense it.
I once had a student who had a limb difference. that student on one hand had only two fingers.
Okay.
And of course, like anybody, you adapt. And
Yeah.
so the student was able to do everything,
Yeah.
pretty much. Figured it out, did it with the
Yes.
other hand, figured
Yes.
it out, right? Figured out how we're going to coordinate this. And I remember, because of this limb difference and how it looked, that there were adults, like for example, other families, who would come in and you would see the look on their face, and they would talk to their children about how this child is just like them, and this child is a child who wants to play like them, and you should go play with this child.
Right.
And we're going to be nice and kind, and oh, you could be helpful. But the look on their face said, ew.
Yes. I know this because I have a little girl in my class that has some disabilities with her legs and how she walks, and you can tell. You could tell when the parents, it's almost like a...
It isn't just parents either. It could be staff too.
It's honestly some of the staff too. It's like pity. The look on their face is like, oh, this poor little, like, yeah, but she does more than some of the kids, some of the other kids do. Like, nothing stops her, and she doesn't, like, just, she's a little girl. Like, that's who she is, and she does everything that everybody else does, and sometimes more. She's taking more risks on the playground than some other kids are. So she doesn't need your pity.
When adults need an assistive device to move around, like a wheelchair, or a walker, or something like that, and they come to a door, the thing we're supposed to do is look at them and say, would you like me to hold it for you? Would you like me to open it for you?
Yeah.
Because they may want to do it on their own.
But I think I'm okay with asking that, and I think we should, but I think there's people who are like, oh, I shouldn't even ask them.
There are people who will say I shouldn't ask.
I shouldn't ask them. I think because there's both sides of the coin here.
And
I should automatically help them whether they want the help or not.
There are those people too.
And then there's people who are like, they can do it on their own because this is their life. And I think there's no harm in asking, hey, would you like me to help you?
I think that's respectful.
Yeah.
I don't think that shows disrespect or lack of acceptance. I think it's just helpful. Because if it was somebody
not in a wheelchair at the door, you would have no problem asking them, hey, would you like me to open the door for you?
Right.
That's what I don't quite understand.
So I go back to the child who had the limb difference.
Right.
Who was so capable. And I remember there were times when I would look at this child and say, and this child was like 3-4 years old. Yeah. And I would say, would you like my help? Do you want me to help?
Yeah.
And very often the child said no.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
And was... I think that's also part of when we show acceptance and respect when you can offer anyone help.
Yes.
But to just jump in and be like, I'll do it, is not as accepting of their capabilities.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah. Think about, and I can think of times in my life where I gained knowledge about something, but I still felt a little uneasy with the person.
Yeah.
I still felt like maybe things I thought were right and that things that person thought were wrong, which is such a bias.
Yeah, it is.
We all have it though inside of us, and we have to fight it. We have to be like, no, there's more than one way to raise a child. Mm-hmm. There's more than one way to live a life.
Yes.
There's more than one way to do this.
Yeah.
Even within the parameters of early education, should we all be using positive approaches to teach behavior? Yes, we should. Yeah. Always positive approaches, but there are different ways to apply those positive approaches, right? So you may have 10 different approaches that work on behavior in a positive way. I can think of 3 off the top of my head. I can think of like conscious discipline, pyramid model, and flip it.
Oh yeah, flip it. Yeah.
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 So I feel like within those that, we need to do this. This is high quality practice. There's still multiple ways to skin the cat.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't use that phrase, skin the cat. That's terrible.
That's true.
Shows my lack of acceptance of cats. No, I like cats. I'm a cat person. I almost took kittens, but then I have birds. I have birds. I couldn't.
Kittens were so cute.
I know. I couldn't do it. But I had birds. I have birds. Sorry, folks. I couldn't do it. Yeah. I felt really bad too. So at any rate, think about it this way when you think about how does this apply to my work. first, do I have knowledge? Because if you don't, you need to gain knowledge.
Gain the knowledge.
Gain the knowledge.
Gain it. Yeah.
But gaining the knowledge isn't enough. You have to figure out, how do I demonstrate my acceptance of this difference from me?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. How am I going to do that? And a lot of times it has to do with giving people power, giving people decision-making power, giving people partnership with you power.
Yeah.
Giving people room and space to just be themselves without judgment.
Right.
Right. One of the things when I conduct professional development, we ask, for one organization I do it for, we always ask what people need in order to make the training valuable to them. And always, people put in that slide, that anonymous slide, I need non-judgment. I need no judgment. People need to know that they are accepted, their questions are accepted, their curiosity is accepted, their level of knowledge, wherever it is accepted. Your difference from me is accepted. Your similarities to me are accepted. Because people are simultaneously the same and different.
It's true.
You know, all of that. I think we need to think about, how am I demonstrating acceptance? Am I actually reaching out in partnership to the children and families I work with in a very non-judgmental way?
Right.
So I hope that you will take that and think about that and be a responder. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to our last episode. Go back one episode. Please contact us if you can think of ways that you show acceptance. We would love to share it. You can go to our Facebook page called How Preschool Teachers Do It, our website, howpreschoolteachersdoit.com. You can go to YouTube and you can hold your camera up to the QR code that Allison has just leaned out of the way of, and that will give you the links to all of the many things that we have. So you can feel free to go there. And always remember, we've got resources online. We've got all sorts of things, so you may want to periodically check there. But most important, we want you to come back. So we hope you will come back for the next episode of How Preschool Teachers Do It. Bye.
Bye, peeps.